Welcome back to another weekly market and financial update. So today, Tuesday, October 15th, it's my wife's birthday. Happy birthday, Nicole. And besides that, shout out to her. Let's talk about some of the volatility that's happened, really the opening today and what's sort of expected, especially as now that we are only just a few weeks away from the election. So as of right now, it's about 11:30 in the morning. Markets are down. And this is really due to a couple of reasons. So we're still seeing a lot of geopolitical tension in the Middle East, especially with Israel and Iran. We talked about some of the ongoing issues a few weeks ago. But as a quick recap, there's been a big military struggle between these two nations, and it's caused a lot of volatility around oil, which has been giving the market some pretty mixed signals and uncertainty. So we're seeing a lot of volatility revolving around that situation specifically. Additionally, we're in wrapping up earnings season. So as a lot of the earnings have come out, some results have been somewhat mixed. So we're seeing big finance. Big finance has actually done really, really well. Bank of America, Schwab, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, a lot of these companies are beating their EPSs. They are posting big profitabilities in their banking fees and showing 20%, even 30% increases in their fees, which is adding a lot of revenue and ultimately dollars to their bottom line. So the financial sector is doing quite well. Now, the healthcare sector, which is a big section of the market in addition to finance, is somewhat mixed, maybe I would even argue struggling a little bit. So Walgreens in particular came out today and said they're going to actually be closing 1,200 stores over the next 3 years. And yes, you heard me right, 1,200 stores over the next 3 years. And while Walgreens is nowhere near the market caps of other companies that offer healthcare services and pharmacies, such as a Walmart, as an example, Walgreens still does have an impact on the market. And with them closing 1,200 stores, it begs the question, well, how are they really doing financially? And are they going to be able to sustain themselves and potentially maybe even go out of business in a few years? So we just saw Big Lots and True Value announce that they are going bankrupt and closing their doors. And Walgreens, in an attempt to try to save themselves, again, they're closing all these stores to reduce some of their costs. So we'll see what ultimately happens with Walgreens as a store, but right now the situation for them is not looking too great. And again, when you have news like this, when you have other factors that come in and the media headlines talks about Walgreens closing 1,200 stores and ongoing issues overseas, it just creates that intraday volatility that 40, 50 years ago, this never happened, right? Now today with technology and resources being so available, I mean, it's about 11:30 my time now and I'm talking about Walgreens, but this story has already been circulated to hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people at this point, whether it's through a push notification on their phone, you read it while just doing some work on your computer, you saw it on TikTok or other social media platforms, you heard about it from a friend. I mean, this news came out a couple hours ago and it's already considered old news, right? So with the advancements of technology and the way that information is so readily available, it can create a lot of this intraday volatility that never used to occur back 30, 40 years ago, because the only way we received information then was by reading the paper the following day, right? And at that point, the information was stale. So with the increase in technology, we're going to see a lot of this volatility. And again, the election is really just a few weeks around the corner. So depending upon what happens with the election, I'm sure we'll continue to see some volatility throughout this time period. But the good news is the market overall has done tremendously well. We've been in a bull market now for, actually today is the 2-year anniversary, which is pretty incredible to think about. So back in October of 2022 is really when the bull market began. And bull markets historically tend to do well beyond 2-year periods when they last longer than 2 years. Traditionally, the third year in a bull run will historically do well. Not that this is an indicator that ours will continue to do well, but historically they do. And they do tend to not perform as well as the first 2 years, but they still tend to perform up. So it's just a good sign and a little bit of boost of confidence if any of us are looking at the stock market today and saying, oh man, I'm seeing a lot of red, and you're absolutely right. But the reason why I do these videos and to educate everyone is to just talk about that these situations tend to pass, right? I mean, the news today, in the grand scheme of things is really not a big deal when it comes to a market perspective, right? Walgreens announcing this news. Walgreens has become a staple and it really is a household name, but if something should happen to Walgreens, there are plenty of other healthcare resources to go to, right? Plenty of other pharmacies, and geopolitical issues happen all the time. And this is not me diminishing the issues that are going on in the Middle East. It's just saying that these issues happen all the time. And really, it's whatever the news is picking up that day, right? Last year we talked a lot about the Ukraine issues with Russia invading. This year we're talking about Iran and Israel. So there's always some sort of issue that's going on, and these issues will affect a lot of the volatilities within the market. So the good news is we're still on a bull run. We still expect the market to do well by the end of the year, but there definitely is volatility in the meantime, and it won't be an easy road to get to the end of 2024. So with that in mind, thank you so much for tuning in today. Happy birthday again to my wife, Nicole. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope everyone else has a wonderful day too. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next week.